Breaking. King Charles has just done something no British monarch has dared attempt in half a century, and it's tearing the government apart from the inside. Last Tuesday, at precisely 9:47 a.m, Prime Minister Keir Starmer sent a private letter to Buckingham Palace. His request was shocking. He urged King Charles to suspend all public appearances in London for 3 months, citing security concerns linked to Labour's reform agenda. But when Charles read that letter, he did the exact opposite. Within 2 hours, he scheduled 5 new London events, including a surprise meeting with veterans in the East End. That single decision has ignited the fiercest royal government clash since the abdication crisis, and here's why it matters. Leaked Labour documents, published by The Telegraph on Wednesday, revealed the truth. This was never about security. One internal memo admitted that royal appearances were stirring up nationalist sentiment that undermines Labour messaging. In plain English, too many Britons still adore their king. And that's a problem for Starmer's narrative. The situation exploded after senior Labour strategist Morgan McQueen's email surfaced, declaring that the monarchy represents everything Labour must dismantle. The backlash was instant. Conservative MP Jacob Rees-Mogg read parts of the memo aloud in Parliament, and the chamber erupted. Even neutral commentators called the revelations devastating. Outside Westminster, public anger hit fever pitch. James Morrison, a 67-year-old Royal Marine veteran, spoke emotionally outside the Imperial War Museum. "We didn't fight for this country just to have politicians tell our king where he can and cannot go. He lives on a modest pension that barely covers rent, while cabinet ministers enjoy taxpayer-funded apartments worth £4,000 a week." That contrast struck a nerve. Lifelong Labour supporters began abandoning the party. "I've voted Labour all my life," said Patricia Hughes of Durham, "but this attack on our monarchy is unforgivable." Within 48 hours, a veterans group called Defenders of the Crown launched a petition demanding Starmer's resignation. It hit 387,000 signatures in 2 days. Then came a bombshell moment. Colonel Richard Kemp, a former army commander who led British forces in Afghanistan, appeared on BBC Breakfast. His words shook the nation. "In 30 years of service, I never doubted my government's respect for the crown. Now I barely recognize this country." The clip went viral, over 2 million shares. That same day, King Charles broke royal protocol, a way unseen for decades. During Commonwealth Day at Westminster Abbey, in front of cameras beaming to 50 nations, he delivered the most direct speech of his reign. Service to this nation is not a privilege granted by politicians. It is a sacred duty that rises above temporary governments and fleeting political winds. Those who serve understand this. Those who seek only power never will. The Abbey fell silent. Everyone knew exactly whom he meant. Insiders say Charles personally rewrote that passage 6 times, ignoring advisers who begged him to soften it. He refused them all. Hours later, Prince William made an unscheduled visit to a military hospital, declaring, "My father and I will always stand wherever Britain needs us most." No memo will ever change that. Princess Anne cancelled private plans to attend a cavalry ceremony. Prince Edward completed 3 public events in 2 days. The entire royal family had closed ranks, and the palace was now on the offensive. Markets trembled. Within 90 minutes of the King's speech, the pound fell to 0.3% against the dollar, wiping £8.7 billion from the FTSE 100 by close. Traders cited constitutional instability. Politically, the tremors were even greater. 7 Labour MPs broke ranks. Veteran MP Graham Stringer called the attempted royal ban the most foolish political decision in modern history. Abroad, the ripples spread fast. Australia's Prime Minister abruptly cancelled his UK visit. Canada voiced doubts about Britain's stability in trade talks. New Zealand's Parliament even passed a motion affirming loyalty to the monarchy. Across Britain, protests erupted. Manchester, Birmingham, Glasgow, Cardiff, Newcastle, thousands waving Union Jacks and chanting "God Save the King." Even in Labour heartlands like Liverpool, Royal crowds top 6 karma, polls turn brutal. A Sunday Times survey found 68% of Britons believe Starmer should resign. His approval collapsed from 41% to 23% in just 5 days, the steepest drop ever recorded for a sitting Prime Minister. Inside Downing Street, panic roared. Cabinet Secretary Simon Case slammed his folder during a crisis meeting, shouting that Starmer had created an unsolvable disaster. Deputy PM Angela Rayner muttered, "Loyalty has limits, and we've reached them." Private Labour group chats named Last Stand are now filled with talk of removing Starmer before he destroys the party. Chancellor Rachel Reeves has already hosted quiet meetings, positioning herself as the unity candidate who could personally apologise to the King. By Thursday, Education Secretary Bridget Phillipson was skipping cabinet sessions, citing illness few believed. Home Secretary Yvette Cooper was spotted leaving Parliament after late-night talks with rebel MPs. The plotting is no longer secret. And then came the final blow. The Times published leaked cabinet papers proving Starmer had been warned this plan would backfire. Policy Director Clara Ainsley wrote a 9-page memo explaining exactly how public opinion would revolt. Starmer's reported reply: "The monarchy needs to understand who's really in charge here." If that quote is genuine, Starmer deliberately chose this fight and lost everything. Meanwhile, Rishi Sunak is seizing the moment, casting himself as the calm defender of constitutional order. During Prime Minister's questions, he asked simply, "Does the Prime Minister regret trying to exile our monarch from his own capital?" That restraint was lethal. Even Labour MPs winced. Conservatives have jumped to 38%, their best poll in 18 months. Labour has plunged to 24%, its lowest since 2014. Sunak now leads Starmer 52% to 31% as preferred Prime Minister. In former Labour strongholds like County Durham and South Yorkshire, the Tories are suddenly leading by double digits. Reform UK, led by Nigel Farage, is also rising fast. At a rally in Stoke-on-Trent, thousands chanted "God Save the King" for 5 straight minutes. Farage stood silently, hand on heart, and said 8 words. This is what they fear the most. Reform's website crashed twice under new memberships. Polling now shows the party gaining ground in 40-plus Labour seats. The next 72 hours will decide everything. Parliament reconvenes Monday, where Starmer faces rebellion from his own benches. King Charles has another public appearance scheduled Wednesday, one Starmer cannot block. By Thursday, Labour's National Executive Committee will meet to discuss his leadership. 3 cabinet ministers are ready to resign if he refuses to issue a full public apology to the King. At this point, the question isn't if Starmer falls, but how hard. Britain is witnessing a Prime Minister at war with an institution that has outlasted empires, wars, and revolutions. At the centre stands Starmer, isolated, defiant, and finished. So what happens next? Does he step down before he's forced out? Or will Labour remove him in revolt? Did the Prime Minister just make the greatest political blunder in modern British history? Tell us what you think will unfold in the next 72 hours. Drop your thoughts in the comments. We're reading everyone, because understanding this crisis means understanding you.